Hey guys, it is time for the Saturday night movie review. So, I actually watched a movie to review. It's a movie I've been wanting to see from 2011 called The Awakening. Uh, it is, I'm on IMDb, which is not the most friendly site to do a review with on a phone because it takes forever to do what I want it to do. But the screenplay was written by Stephen Volk and Nick Murphy, and the main actors were Rebecca Hall. She played Florence. Dominic West, who played Robert. Imelda Staunton. She played Maud, I believe. Yeah, Maud. And then Isaac Hempstead Wright played Tom. Those are the main actors in the film. And the film takes place in 1921 in England. And in 1921 in England, everyone was still reeling from the loss and destruction of World War One. So everyone was really very sensitive. You had people suffering from PTSD. A lot of times they called it shell shock then. You had people grieving horribly who had lost one or more family members to the war. Sometimes not just soldiers, but family members who were maybe lost in bombings and things like that. Um, and, the whole city, checking on my incense, the whole city changed, the whole dynamic changed because of that war. I do believe, and I may be wrong, but I believe World War One is known as the Great War. It was a very, very terrible war. Um, so what this is about, because basically what happened um, in the years after World War One, that was the time of the spiritualist movement as well. I believe was in the 1920s. It may have been before that also. I'd have to look that up to be sure. But I know the spiritualists were still around in the 1920s. There were real spiritualists. We all know that because we're pagans. So we know there were the real deal. But the real deal spiritualists were not ripping people off left and right. They were being the real deal. Meanwhile, there were spiritualists who were basically like the evangelist of the time, who were just showmen who were basically ripping people off by smoke and mirrors. And it happened a lot, and it happened to a lot of grieving people. Now, granted, a lot of grieving people left happy, thinking they had talked to their loved ones, but they hadn't. So the movie begins with Florence Cathcart, and she's a hoax exposer. She's a very educated woman, which was not very common in that time. And so she actually has machinery and things like that that helps her to expose the hoaxes. She never fails. Everything she ever goes to or does, whether it has to do with ghosts or the spiritualist seance or anything like that, she's always able to prove them as a hoax, and she never fails at it. So she decides to stop working, to stop taking cases. But what happens is Robert Mallory shows up at her front door, and he asks her to please come to this boarding school. Please, the boys are terrified. They're seeing this young boy and things are happening, and they really, really need her help. So he kind of uses a low blow to get her help, but she does go. And things start happening that are crazy sauce from there, because she's convinced that she can disprove this. She is absolutely convinced. And so things just start in the plot. you think you know what's happening, and it seems like it's going to be a straightforward movie with a straightforward plot, and you're going to know, oh, it's another one of those movies. But you're completely going to be wrong. I was pleasantly surprised that the plot was able to keep twisting and turning in ways that shocked me. And there'll be small things that happen. And you're like, why did they do that? What the hell was the point of that? And then later you're like, oh, that's why. So, if you like a movie like the others, that's not necessarily horror, because this is not a horror film. I don't know. I don't even know if they classify it as a horror film. I would not classify this as a horror film. There are some horror elements. I mean, obviously there's a ghost in it, so you're going to have a few elements that are going to scare you. Thriller. I would say thriller. They also have it listed as a thriller. It's 107 minutes. It's rated R. But loosely a horror film, more of a thriller film, and I would say thriller mystery. I almost put it in the mystery department with maybe a little bit of horror. Well worth a watch. This is a fantastic movie. I don't have enough good things to say about this movie. I could go on for hours about this movie. I'm so glad I watched it. Netflix actually recommended it, and it said, how it says best guess for? It said best guess for, and I gave it almost 5 stars. And I thought, oh, right, whatever, because it's always wrong. Like, it'll give me one that's like best guess for, and it's 2 stars, and I think it's awesome. And then it'll give me one that's all these stars, and I think it's terrible. So, I went into it with an open mind, though, and honestly, I wanted to rate it 4.5, but it wouldn't let me do that, so I rated it at a 5. And I'm not upset that I had to rate it at a 5. So, if you like mystery, if you like things that take place in other countries, because it does take place in England, all of the acting is superb. There's not one bit of bad acting in this film. Not even, kid number 3 in seat 5 is a bad actor. None of them are bad. Usually you have that one person that, it's like, now's my time to shine, and they give their line and it's just horrible. That doesn't happen in this film. I like the coloring in this film. The way they use and you're going to find in my reviews, this is always important to me. It lends it that somber feel that it needs to go along with the time period as well as the storyline. Definitely not happy fun times. It is kind of a depressing film, sort of. No, it's a depressing film. I have to gauge things like, is it depressing to me? Not really, but would it be depressing to someone else? Probably. So, just as the story unfolds, you just become more and more enthralled with it, and I didn't even hit pause, and that's really rare for me when I'm watching film at home, to not hit pause and get up and walk away for a minute. So, if you have 107 minutes and you've got some popcorn, and you don't mind a couple jumps here and there, and a really good plot, and are looking for some fantastic acting, and plot twists and turns, then you want to watch this. I promise. You'll like it. Not heavy horror. Lots of thrills, though. You're going to like it. If you like the others, you will like this movie. I'm trying to think if there's any other film I can think of off the top of my head that it would be like, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm sure there are other ones that it would be like, but I cannot think of one off the top of my head. But definitely give it a watch. and let me know what you think down in the comments. So this has been the Saturday Night Movie Review. If you guys don't mind me being more spoiler-like in the reviews, let me know, because I can go more into the plots if you guys like. I don't mind doing that. It's just I'm kind of trying not to spoil the plots too much, because I want you to be surprised about what happens in the films, because I hate well, I don't hate them, obviously, that's a strong word. I dislike it when reviewers reveal everything about the film, and then I'm like, well, I don't need to see it now. You've told me everything. I really dislike that, so I don't want to be someone that does that, because again, what's the point of seeing the film if you know the whole film? So that's kind of how my reviews are going to be. I'm thinking this week, if I can get a chance, maybe I'll watch a comedy or something to review something different for some of y'all that watch my channel that may want something a little bit different. So if I get a chance, I will try to do that this week. No promises though. I'm hoping I have time to get that in. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and have a great weekend, and blessed be.